When I'm out working and I hear a woohoo, and you're up here and they're down there and you know why they woohooed, that's a good feeling.
It was best when a mountain biker said to another mountain biker, a horseback rider said to another, hey, let's not do this.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the right thing. And that was much more effective than a bureaucrat, you know, or a law enforcement officer doing it.
He supported mountain biking in the parks from when he started his job. Before he started his job, cops would chase all bikers out of the park.
There's a tradition here in Pittsburgh of hard work. It's a very blue-collar city.
Oh, buddy.
Lots of steel mills, very industrial. And do you think that paved the way for the attitude of we can get this stuff done?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the city in general, everybody in the city is a doer. And people that come into the city that have never been here before and then moved here for work, it's hard to ignore it, right? And it ends up becoming part of you. And everybody pitches in to do stuff, whatever that stuff is, regardless of the walk of life.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Jeff, nice to meet you, Jeff.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
They did a master plan for the county. They decided that we were looking for what do people want in the area. We showed up at the meeting, we said we want mountain bike trails.
I know Dave was involved years ago when they had trails here.
Yeah.
And they lost them at some point. The county decided to log, and bringing them back didn't really happen because they dropped tops everywhere.
Huh.
So it destroyed the trail system,
yeah.
and it went a number of years. And that's when some of the group got together and said, let's bring this back to life.
Yes, firewood.
The park was looking at it and they said they didn't have the manpower to build the trails or maintain the trails. So when Trail Pittsburgh stepped in and said we'd like to do that, it would be good for the area. They're like, okay, well, let's see how we do that.
That's fun.
Trail Pittsburgh contacted me. A bunch of my friends work for Trail Pittsburgh, and they said, hey, Mark, you want to go build trails at Alameda? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to.
The master plan for the county, the 210-page document, has a nice 11-page section in there specifying that Trail Pittsburgh will be building the trails. Jamie was the one who was involved in getting all of that going, and then we just started building the trails.
I'm Jeff.
Jamie.
Nice to meet you.
Maybe Jamie has to tell us the background of it being logged. You mentioned it on the trail earlier.
And so the whole place was logged and decimated. A few years later, Butler County paid an engineering firm to come up with a county recreational plan.
Yeah.
And trails were part of it. And they recommended trails for Alameda Park. The landscape architect who put the plan together.
That's the master plan that Dave mentioned.
So we have a master plan. We worked from a map that was laid out on a desktop and have gone from all the phases of, we started with 0 trails and started just building from all that according to the map.
Well, and the trails that were here before were trails that were just scratched in. They weren't really built with a plan. They weren't sustainable. They wouldn't hold a high traffic of people. There were water issues everywhere.
They weren't fun to flow, right?
So no, and so this whole evolution has been, we have something that's so much greater now than ever existed here before.
And how does it feel to be working full-time professionally building trail instead
It's a dream come true. It doesn't get any better for me. You know, yeah, I love it.
From Pittsburgh, born and raised.
Yeah, South Hills, moved to the North Hills.
Some do, but I
Raised my family this way.
Your kids ride bikes?
Yes.
Cool. They ride these trails?
Yep.
Nice. That's way cool. That's cool. Get the whole fam out on the trails. That's really cool.
It's good to give back. It's a selfish side for me. It's a me thing.
Okay.
When I'm out working and I hear a woohoo, you know why they woohooed. That's a good feeling.
And this is the trail network that was just like, you want to come and build us trails? Sure.
Yeah. We progressed from the easiest trails now to the more difficult trails. And this is just like a flowy, small, jumpy trail that we finished that we hope is going to have a lot of people stoked on the area and coming here to ride.
Eight years ago, would you have thought you'd get hired to build a trail here in Pittsburgh?
Never, no. I thought I'd probably be loading a truck with an excavator somewhere, you know, not putting smiles on people's faces.
Easy peasy. A big part of why I'm here is because Trail Pittsburgh seems to have developed quite a lot over the years. So do you think you'd be able to get as far as you did with the mountain bike community if you didn't have Trail Pittsburgh as a local group to work with? If it was just rogue mountain bikers?
Probably not, because I wouldn't have the conduit or the respect to talk to these folks to get my message received.
Hospital is about 1 mile on the left.
So this is a pretty special trail. Want to take us through the history of Dr. J's Free Ride Trail?
Started in 2006 with an illegal trail.
Okay.
Building, from logs and dirt and rocks, and people kind of liked it. Then it got kind of found out.
I think one of my staff called and said there was this pretty radical trail in a pretty sensitive part of the park. What was it called, Jamie?
The Dr. J.
Dr. J Trail, that's what it was, a Dr. J Trail. And I said, holy shit, what is this?
The County Parks Director and Trail Pittsburgh, formerly PTAG, were interested in it.
So I asked to meet with him, and he was gentleman enough to meet with me, and I asked him if he built it, and he said he did. I told him he didn't have permission to build it. And he asked could I build something that was more sustainable and work together. And there was a lot of tricks showing up, log jumps and things like that. And we didn't have enough staff to tear them out. And we kind of made a deal that if we could make some really special area called the Dr. J with the skills area, now we have the pump track in it, that they would help me pull up a lot of the other tricks and things like that that were being in the park.
PTAG had always wanted to do something like that. Trail Pittsburgh always wanted to do something like that. And so they allowed me and some of my buddies to work on it and develop it and build it.
We start working together on things, so it's been a good partnership.
Well, there was a blow up in Pittsburgh over people riding downhill, and honestly, there were several of us that rode downhill and what we like to call cross stuntry, which is anything cross country with some stunts on it. And unfortunately, people in the area didn't know how to ride it, and we thought that we needed to come up with a way of putting some stuff in, and the skills park was just like all of us sitting around having beers, eating pizza, thinking these are things that we need in Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's such a legitimate use. I look at mountain biking as today's horses. This park was built when there's a lot of horses still in the area that were using it. Sure. It's a legitimate, I work with all user groups. There's a bazillion of them, that think about what they like, mountain biking or tennis or basketball or whatever it is. And the mountain bikers that met me halfway, they're willing to do work. Listen, they'll do work that people pay 20 bucks an hour find a hard time doing. Yeah. And they do it with a smile on their face.
Get it.
Oh, nice. So ugly.
Trail Pittsburgh was just something that started back in 2001. People wanted to have access to the trails, and they wanted to help make them better.
We could never take care of 180 miles of trails without volunteers. It is really integral to what we do. And the formula works is that this group, they build it, they maintain it, and they insure it. Okay. And we support them.
And I can't go out to every park and build all the trails.
Yeah.
So, we support the stewards by fundraising, by membership, and, social media, web.
Sure.
And then land manager relations.
What aspect of being the head trail steward at Frick Park gives you the most personal satisfaction?
I just, like seeing, for me, okay, I did a bunch of work and now I ride it and it made the trail better, it's more fun, it's more enjoyable, and it drains better. There's just, all the improvements it's just nice to see. After being the steward, I sort of have this critical eye for trails in general. Okay. So whenever I ride places, I'm always thinking about I like what they did here or something.
So has the mountain bikers' experience in Pittsburgh improved?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. The growth in general is what's impressed me. I also think that the relationship with the county and the city is really the thing that's kind of stepped up over the past few years.
Well, thanks for making this happen for the mountain bikers. That's a cool success story.
It's my job and it's my pleasure. Yeah. I try to engage all groups. Recreation is different things to different people.
We felt the need, and most of us, we have a good group of folks, but most of us have kids. Yeah. And so we always think about what can we do to make it better, for better than what we had. Yeah. Leave it better. So that's really how it all came to be, beers and pizza and the love of riding bikes.
The story of mountain biking in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is a great example of boots on the ground advocacy. Local riders organized together and formed Trail Pittsburgh. Today, the group connects local riders to 14 trail networks totaling over 200 miles of single and double track. You can support Trail Pittsburgh by joining them at their website, trailpittsburgh.org. My name's Jeff Kendallweed, and this is Local Loam.